Let me get my shoes on.
I got you, sir. I got you, sir.
Let me get my shoes on.
Hold on, your head is bloody.
So we got to move to the bus. Move to the bus. Let me get my shoes on.
Okay, my shoes down. My shoe.
Watch out.
Wait.
Well, that's exactly what happened in those 11 minutes. Now, to give us more insights, we have Mr. KP Fabian joining us live on this broadcast, a former diplomat. A very good afternoon to you, sir. My first question is, how does the diplomatic community react in the aftermath of such assassination attempts? Because it's a very tricky situation. The media is all over you and the police are investigating. So how do diplomats handle this?
Well, first of all, we are all very glad, thank God, the assassination attempt failed. But we also have to look at it from a deeper perspective. I remember I had not joined the Foreign Service then, but in 1963, when Kennedy was assassinated, and as we know, later there was an attempt on Reagan. But we also know that in 1968, Martin Luther King Jr. and also Robert Kennedy, the brother of the president, assassinated, they were killed. And even more recently, there have been attacks on politicians. So what we are witnessing is that in America, using violence against politicians and of course against others, schools and all that, is, what shall I say, is almost becoming a norm. Now, there is much talk about the gun culture, but the gun culture has two aspects. One is the easy availability of guns. The other is the mindset that, the society is so polarized. So a particular person, feels that it is all right for him to go and use the gun against the other person. So America, the longest democracy in the world, you know that American Revolution preceded the French Revolution, has to wake up. It should have woken up in 1963 and in 68, but it hasn't. So it has to wake up and address this problem in a holistic way, not in a politicized way, blame game. No, it has to do that. But will they do that? Well, I do not know. I hope they will, but I'm skeptical.
So now, just a while back, I was speaking to Mr. Salvatore Babones, and he pinned the blame on the negative campaigning by Donald Trump during the course of the presidential election race. So what do you think? Who is to be blamed here? Is it an intelligence failure, or is it a result or a backlash against the alleged negative campaigning by Donald Trump?
Well, it's a question addressed to me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, negative campaigning has been going on, if I may say so, by both sides. Trump, of course, is guilty of that. But President Biden also, when he said that Trump has to be stopped, it will be a disaster if he comes back to the White House. So that sort of negative campaigning by both sides has been quite toxic. And, when somebody who is young, this guy is 20, he was told that Trump has to be stopped. Well, according to his toxic mind, the best way to stop him is by killing him. So that is what has happened, and we all have to be careful that in democracy, there is no scope for violence and also for negative campaigning, which can generate violence.
So do you think that there were a few red flags and warnings that the Secret Service agents ignored, which led to this incident?
Yes, it is a warning, but the question is, does those who are responsible, do they take the warning seriously?
Right, sir. Now, going forward, do you think lessons are learned? Because this is not the first time that the US or the world has witnessed an assassination bid against a US president or a former president. Even in the past as well, we've seen so many assassination attempts. Some of them failed, and unfortunately, many of them, succeeded as well. So how do you see this? Do you think that the security protocols must improve?
Well, that the security failed is obvious because this guy did it from a rooftop. And as we know, President Trump, or former President Trump rather, he was entitled to security as a former president and also as a candidate. So the security, the FBI and the local police should have seen to it that all the rooftops were sort of either taken over or monitored properly. Obviously, they failed to do that. It's a serious lapse on their part.
So usually,
why did it happen? Well, there will
right.
be an investigation, then only we can say.
Right. So usually when such high-profile addresses are, scheduled at such public places, what kind of arrangements or preparations go into it?
Well, the American security, what shall I say, makes very, very draconian arrangement. I remember once when I was in Canada, the American president came to Canada, and in Montreal, it was a huge hotel with 600 rooms or something like that. They took over the entire hotel, and also considerable area surrounding the hotel. So they do it in a very, what shall I say, elaborate, comprehensive way. But in this case, they did not do that.
Right, sir. Stay on with us because we have a ground report from an Associated Press journalist who was right there at the spot. So let's listen in as he narrates the sequence of events that happened.